Sure. Obviously, really happy for our guys. I thought second half we were really aggressive on both ends of the floor. Defensively, was able to turn some things up a little bit, and then got to the rim, got to the foul line, and then eventually we were able to get some threes to go in. But the group continues to find ways. I think this is a really good team, and really good teams win in a multitude of ways and find ways to win. And this group, when we were back and forth in the first half, I thought we had more of an edge to us in the second half, more of a bite to us, specifically on the defensive end, and that ignited some things for us offensively. But obviously we know it's a good team that can put a lot of points on you. I thought we did a really good job on Peyton Sanford. Josh got loose a few times, and obviously he made some tough shots as well. But for the most part, we were able to limit him to one shot for the most part, and take care of the ball better in the second half too. That was important to not let them get some baskets in transition and broken plays where they could score quickly in transition. So, any questions?
What kind of step is this for your team defensively?
I think it just shows how much they're buying in and how much they're getting better. I thought obviously we played with a smaller lineup for the most part until down towards the end. I went back to Nolan and Steve, but I thought Steve was really good in the ball screens. And I thought he kept the offensive guard on their heels. I thought we lost Peyton early. When we went under a screen, he hit a three in front of our bench. But for the most part, we were pretty well attached to the shooters, and then we were able to cover for each other when there was a breakdown. We had either a 4 or 5 ready to absorb the offensive player that maybe broke loose.
And you guys just pressured them for giving off to you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just be more aggressive, and that's what we talked about at halftime. Compete. I didn't feel we competed at the level that we need to compete at in the first half. In the second half, I thought we were much better in that category, and that makes you more aggressive, right? That fuels your defense, that fuels your offense. Just compete, and the ball will go in if you play harder and make good things happen, and they did that.
Can you speak to the value of having a guy like Tajay who can draw fouls? I think he had about 4 within about a 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big guard that can play in space and get downhill, and he's such a threat from 3. And he's got teammates that'll find him, and we can spread the floor around him too. It's not like you can park a guy at the rim and wait for him, because our bigs will all shoot it. And he picked his spots. I thought he went too early in the first half. He threw one off the backboard and stepped out of bounds once. I thought he was a little impatient in the first half. The second half, he was able to attack when the floor was a little more spread and we were a little more balanced, and we had gotten the defense distorted.
Seemed like you guys were just trying to find any rhythm offensively, but that 8-0 stretch that you had, I think that put you ahead. Was that kind of the lift that your group needed? Because it was a little bit of just good flow offensively, and you also got some stops defensively, which
we had really good shots. Even the first half, I thought we had good shots. We just didn't we were just kind of running in mud, so to speak. I thought the second half, even though we missed the first couple threes of the half, I thought we had good looks, and the ball moved. That's probably what you judge and analyze more than whether the ball goes in, is how fast are we moving it and finding the next open player. And that told me our competitive level, our willingness to compete at a higher and hotter level was better. And then eventually, we got to the free throw line. Getting the bonus was important. And then we got some threes to go down too to get separation.
How valuable was Steve controlling the interior?
Yeah, I mean, he was really good. I thought he was really good in the ball screens. He switched on to guards at times and didn't let him, rock him and shoot threes over him. I thought he was really good on the defensive glass too. He gobbled up, and he had 6 defensive rebounds. And then playing through him too, even though we're, the perimeter gets a lot of the attention, we played through him and then played out of the post double that they were throwing at him and played advantage basketball outside of the post trap.
What kind of sense?
Nick, go ahead.
You mentioned the defensive effort on some big guards. Specifically, what stood out about Max's efforts on Sanford? It seemed like even some of the main shots were well contested.
Yeah, I thought, we went under 1 in the first half. I think he's 1-3 that he hit. And then we lost him once in the second half. I thought we got a little hesitant going through a screen and not worried about whether it was an illegal screen or not, just get through it and stay attached. So again, that's Mac's competitiveness shines through. You want to be a good defensive player. It takes a lot of grit, and a lot of guts, and a lot of heart, and a want to. And I thought his desire was really, really good to, Peyton's a tough cover. I mean, moves well without the ball. They run a lot of good stuff for him. They find him, and he gets it off quick. It's a threat from deep, and specifically in transition. So I thought for the most part we challenged, and we're contesting most of his shots.
Can you speak to, this has been a kind of a real busy stretch for this team these last couple of weeks. Can you just speak to, maybe what kind of satisfaction it gives you to kind of complete this, at least this portion of the schedule with the win on the road, and now you get a week off?
Yeah, not satisfied. That's what I told them. We aren't relaxing. This isn't a time to take a breath. You have to continue to get better. You continue to find ways to sharpen us individually and collectively. So we got a lot of season left, and trending towards where, we'll use this week we'll use it to get healthy and rested a little bit, or healthier and rested. And then just the back half of the week to prep for Purdue. But they know, they've been around me long enough. There isn't, other than when I go home and hang out with my wife, that's the only time I relax. Everything else is I'm a little edgy. It's the competitiveness that I don't want them to. They can't dial that back, right? It was really good today. We ain't going back to, we've got an edge established to us. We got to keep it.
I know they had 11 offensive rebounds, but they only had 1 second chance point in the second half. What was different from how you guys covered it? Was it just the fact that you just defended better, or?
Well, and some of them were long shots, and some of them were, you're rotating to stop the ball, and the ball comes off at different angles. And I thought in the first half we gave up a couple. Kingsbury got the one right in front of our bench where he followed it up and didn't have a body, but a few of them were balls bouncing at 8-10 feet, and just a matter we had guys checked out, ball bounced where we were not. So and I thought when we did give them up, we did a really good job of attaching and staying with shooters on the perimeter. Didn't migrate to the ball, and we stayed with and they couldn't find shooters right away, because they do that really well off offensive rebounds. They find it and get another 3 off. So I thought we did a good job of following, scouting report. When there is offensive rebounds, we don't want to give them up, but we have to stick with shooters and not get in a mode where we have to recover to somebody.
I apologize, I'm sure you've been asked about this before, but just given what you lost in the off season, how have you been able to do what you guys are doing this season?
Well, I've got really good players, right? I don't think anybody you can't win at a high level like this without really good players. And I think that's first and foremost. And I know that's the nature, the era we're in, where there's a transient nature in college athletics, specifically college basketball. I've always felt we're kind of the trendsetter, even compared to other sports. But our staff did an amazing job of putting together this roster of how and who we were going to select in the transfer portal, and how we were going to get this team together, and really intentionally built the roster of being deep in every position, and not having too much of X and not enough of Y, and vice versa. And then it comes down to obviously the chemistry of the group, because that's always a coach's concern, is when you bring in, whether it's freshmen or transfers, how does this whole group come together? And retention is always priority number 1 for us, and I've got a great core in Klesmit and McGee and Gilmore and Crow that have been here, and obviously Winter and Blackwell have been here, and then I got other guys, Chris Hodges, Marcus Ilver, program guys that are here for the right reasons and because they want to be here, and those things allow that kind of that merging that takes place when you bring in new players to happen, and it happened in the right direction. I think that's the biggest thing, is that if you can have a lot of talent, but if you're chemically imbalanced, it won't work. So we have a lot of talent, and I think our chemistry, our connection with this group loves hanging out with each other. They're a great group of guys, and on and off the court, and they've really bonded and have winning number one on their priority list, and that makes it really, as a coach, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've never seen bad chemistry, but I've seen some that's better than others, and this one is really good, and that's a credit to our players.
Let's take one more from Michael. These last several games have been bragging from John Blackwell. Have you learned anything about him over this recent stretch coming from the opponent?
Yeah, he's persistent. He's a competitor. He wants to make every shot. He doesn't want anybody to score on him. All the things. So he's constantly trying to get better. He's frustrated when he misses shots. Frustrated when he has silly fouls. So I like that about him. He knows he's hungry. He wants to be the best version of himself that he can be, and he wants to help this team. It's first and foremost, he wants this team to do well, and if he can do well, it helps his team even more.